Shalom. I want to start this off by giving honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Kakwadash. Peace and salutations to the elect men of Israel, starting with the elder apostles of GMS on down to the rest of you other brothers who are diligently pushing forth the will and doctrine of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Right? In all faith, truth, and sincerity, according to the true understanding of the scriptures. To all of you, I say shalom. So, this lesson is just going to be going into the importance of staying in the scriptures, staying in the spirit, and surrounding yourself with those things that are of the spirit, and the benefits of doing so, right? And ultimately striving to be masterful with this word, right? With the Lord's true wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, because in the moments and times when things, are rough, whether it be now or when things, get even more riled up, throughout all the chaos that's to come, right? How it, it talks about in Jeremiah 30:7, Jacob's trouble, right? For that, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, right? But it says what at the end? But he shall be saved out of it, And the way that we gonna be saved out of it is if we in good standing with the Lord, right? But if we truly are retaining and holding on to the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that he gives us, when the spirit of wisdom comes to you, you holding to it, you holding on to those words, to the knowledge that's there, and actually using it, So I just got a few scriptures, kind of, going into this point. So Lord willing, this be edifying, right? Jumping straight into it. This is 1 Timothy 4:13. It says, "Till I come, give attendance to reading, to exhortation, to doctrine." It says, so like, neglect not the gift that is in thee, which was given thee by prophecy. It says, with the laying on of the hands of the presbytery. It says, meditate upon these things, give thyself wholly to them, that thy profiting may appear to all. Take heed unto thyself and unto the doctrine, continue in them. For in doing this, thou shalt both save thyself and them that hear thee. Right? So this is a commandment that's being given through the Spirit, being spoke of by, the Apostle Paul, but nonetheless, this is something that we are to do, and with us doing so, right, we're putting ourselves in a position to where we're able to retain this knowledge, prove it and gain the experience, so that way we can go on and save ourselves in the moments where things get tougher, when problems arise and there needs to be a resolution, right? You're able to save yourself and save, others that be of the same spirit, those that are of, the Lord's elect, right? You and your household, you and the brothers, so on and so forth, right? You'll be able to utilize that wisdom that was given, because it's the Lord's wisdom that's going to be able to stand overall, And right here in Sirach 34, it says, starting at verse 9, and the point is in 12, it says, a man that hath traveled knoweth many things, and he that hath much experience will declare wisdom. You see? So that's a fact right there, right? That man that has much experience will declare wisdom. And it says, he that hath no experience knoweth little, but he that hath traveled is full of prudence. So it's important for us to stay in these words, right? It's important for us to give attendance to them, right? It's important to meditate on these things, and give yourself wholly to them, right? With you giving yourself wholly to them, you proving all these words, you're applying them to your day-to-day life. You're applying them in season when it's meant to, With you meditating on these things, you're retaining the information that's being said within the words, right? So that way you can use them in the moments that you need to, And with you doing so, that's what's gonna allow you to be able to have that experience. It says, when I travel, I saw many things, and I understand more than I can express. It says, verse 12, I was oft times in danger of death, yet I was delivered because of these things. You see? So having that wisdom, and having that experience that comes, or where the wisdom comes with, you're able to be knowledgeable on what it is that needs to be said to resolve this issue, or how to get out of this jam, or how to bring forth the best possible outcome in a slew of different situations, and that's the beauty of the Lord's wisdom, right? And not just the wisdom of this world, but the Lord's wisdom. That's the beauty in you giving attendance to reading, to the doctrine, to the Spirit of the Lord. You giving attendance to these things, and really looking to seek these things to retain them, like the Lord said, how does it go? Matthew 7 and verse 7, it says, ask and it shall be given you, seek and ye shall find, knock and it shall be open unto you. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth. To him that knocketh it shall be open. And there's another one in Revelation, right? It says here, Revelation 3:20, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in to him and will sup with him, and he with me. You see? So that's all through action. That's all you truly seeking. That's all through you truly searching and wanting to have that knowledge, That makes me think of Jeremiah 17 and 9, right? Or verse 10, Salakia. It says, I, the Lord, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings. You see? So if your mind, right, your heart, because that's what the word heart goes into, your mind. If it's on the Lord, he gonna give you those things of the Lord. So if your mind is on wisdom and trying to better yourself and get yourself in the right spirit and prepare yourself for the things that are to come, to be able to be ready to give an answer, to be able to have that solution, that resolution, right? Um, what they call it, like problem resolution skills. If that's truly what you're seeking from the Lord, He gonna give it to you, and it's gonna be the best of the best. Nothing gonna be able to match the wisdom that the Lord gonna give you. And that comes also through the men that He set up. Your elders. Your counselor, right? Counselor being a man of the Lord. Not no freaking counselor in the world, but a man of the Lord. You doing that, you holding to that. That's what's gonna allow you to be able to receive that experience. So much to the point to where you're able to deliver yourself in moments when things get tough or rough, or things get heated. When the chaos is abounding. And it's going haywire, right? Those are the things that you want to hold to. And this will take me to my next scripture. This is 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 16. It says, all scripture is given by inspiration of God. You see? So it's given to us by Him, right? But for a purpose. His word doesn't go out void. It's to help us. And it says, and it's profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. You see? So it's so important to stay in the Lord's word, continue to read, continue to understand, ask questions, seek, truly seek, take heed, listen to understand, right? And retain the things that's given. So that way you can reprove yourself, reprove others, because you start with yourself first and foremost, but reprove others. You correcting yourself, correcting others. It's all how it says, instruction for instruction in righteousness. Makes me think of what's the saying, the word Bible being an acronym for basic instructions before leaving earth. And these are our instructions of how to be saved. How to have comfort. How to conduct yourself ultimately, right? How to prepare yourself. This is our guide of how we're able to retain certain things, create certain things, make certain things. Ultimately just how we operate. And with us doing that, that's what's going to allow us to be able to keep us from, the danger of death, as it said, in verse 12. It says, "Yeah, I was delivered because of these things." And that was basically, what had sparked, the idea of this lesson. Was being able to see the experience and wisdom that you're able to obtain from the Lord's word is what's going to allow you to be safe, to be comforted, and be put in a position to where you're in good standing, to where you don't have to worry about any of these things getting to you, because you put your trust in the Lord. It says, what? Verse 13, the spirit of those that fear the Lord shall live, for their hope is in Him. that saved them. You see? So you are to fear the Lord. With you fearing the Lord, you know, you gonna make sure that you trying to stay right in his eyes, you know. And with you doing that, you know, you truly seeking him, and you trying to make sure that you retain all this information, and you in the right position, right? The Lord gonna give you that increase to where you shall live. You know, it says, whoso feareth the Lord shall not fear nor be afraid, for he is his hope. You see? It says, blessed is the soul of him that feareth the Lord. To whom doth he look? And who is his strength? Isaiah 26:3, it says, thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusted in thee. You see? It says, trust ye in the Lord forever, for the Lord, Yahweh, is everlasting strength. You see? So he is that strength, you know? And with you trusting in him, right, he's going to keep you in perfect peace. With you having your mind stayed on him, he's going to have you in perfect peace, right? That's how you're going to be delivered from the danger of death, you know? Because you had your mind stayed on him, right? And your mind being stayed on him is you retaining his wisdom, right? Holding on to it. Never letting go, you know? Constantly giving attendance to it, you know? Perfecting it. Allowing it to flourish, you know? And that was something we went into, you know, our last highways, you know? But it says, what? Verse 16, for the eyes of the Lord are upon them that love him. It says, he is their mighty protection and strong stay, a defense from heat, and a cover from the sun at noon. You see, the sun at noon is the highest that it is, you know, within the day. That's where it's at its highest point, you know, being the hottest. It says a preservation from stumbling. It says, and a help from falling. You see, and this completely line up with that that 2 Timothy 3:16, you know, where it said all scripture is given by the inspiration of God, you know, profitable for doctrine, for reproof, correction, right, instruction in righteousness. It says, he raiseth up the soul and lighteneth the eyes. He giveth health, life, and blessing. You see? So that's why it's so important to make sure that you know, again, giving attendance to reading, to exhortation, to doctrine. Don't neglect this, you know, because it is a gift, right? And just because it's a gift doesn't mean that you could just do with it willy-nilly. This is something that you are to make sure that you completely utilizing in all aspects to the best of your ability, you know. This is something that you want to make sure that you meditating on, you know, daily, hourly, you know, and all ways that you can, right? Making sure that you taking heed to the wisdom that's being given from those set up before us, you know, those set up above you. Making sure that you taking heed to all that you can, and really utilizing this to the best of your ability. So, because again, it says verse 16, take heed unto thyself, right? Starting with yourself first and foremost, and unto the doctrine. Continue in them, you see. For in doing this, thou shalt both save thyself and them that hear thee. Yeah, and in the NLT it says, keep a close watch on how you live and on your teaching. You see, stay true to what is right for the sake of your own salvation and the salvation of those who hear you. You know, it's a very important job that we do, and it's a very, very important job that's been given to all of us. You know, and with us tending to it how we need to, that's how we gonna be able to make sure that we're good, especially in the moments when things get heated. So that's pretty much the point. You know, Lord willing, this was edifying. Lord, when you able to take heed to what's being said in the scriptures that were brought out, you know, and likewise to myself. So with that, I'm gonna say, call on La, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Wahara Kakwadash. Till next time, Shalom.